Okay, so we've got here 180 pupils in year 7, okay, and we're given a breakdown of how they arrive to school. So we can see how many walk, how many go by bus, car, and go by bike. So, but it looks like the school wants to do some sort of survey, okay. They're not going to survey all the pupils because that would be too much work, okay, with 180 pupils. So they select 30. But they do so by a stratified sample, okay. Now what that means is, okay, they look at the number in each particular group here and they select the correct amount from each group to sort of represent, to have a fair representation of the school. So they're going to select more pupils from this particular group here because so many pupils go by bus, okay, whereas not many go by bike, okay, so they'd be selecting less pupils there, okay, but we can work out exactly how many, okay, by this approach here. So first of all, because it's non-calculator, I would compare these numbers here, okay? It's important to know how many pupils altogether, 180, and they want 30. So think about the fraction of pupils they're going to be surveying here. It's going to be 30 out of 180, and that cancels down nicely, doesn't it? That cancels down to, what's that? If we cancel the zeros there, that's going to be 1/6, isn't it? So in other words, 1 in every 6 is surveyed, okay? 1 in every 6 is chosen. So that means 1 in every 6 of these, 1 in every 6 of these, 1 in every 6 of these, and so on, okay? So to work out how many, we'll start off with walk. We need to work out what 1/6 of 59 is, okay? And that's how many pupils then we will be chosen from the ones who walk to school. So 1/6 of them, well 1/6 of 59, I know 6 doesn't go into 59, okay, but the idea is that we need to divide here, yeah, when we're doing 1/6. Divide 59 by 6. Well, it's not going to be perfect, but I know 6 goes into 59, not quite 10 times, doesn't it? It's going to be 9 times. Now 9 times 6 is 54, so 54 from 59, there's going to be 5 left over 6. So basically, if I did 59 divided by 6, I'd get 9 and 5/6, right? So that is, if you think about it, that's almost 10, isn't it? Okay, because 5/6 is almost a whole. So if I was to round this, and bear in mind, we do need to round here, yeah? Because you can't have 9 and 5/6 pupils, okay? You need to have a whole amount of pupils. But because that fraction is more than half, that would round to 10 pupils, wouldn't it? Okay, so we could do the same then for bus. So we need to do 1/6 of 70, okay? So 70 divided by 6, okay? 6 goes into 70 11 times, okay? When you divide that, and that gives me 66. 11, lots of 6 is 66, with 4 left over 6, okay? Again though, okay, if I was to round this here, I would be thinking about rounding it up, yeah? Because 4/6 is more than half, so I'd round that up to 12. If we look at then the car, okay, 1/6 then of 45, okay, while 45 divided by 6, well 6 goes into 45 7 times, 7 times 6 is 42, 42, and there's 3 left over, isn't it? 3 left over out of 6, okay? Now in terms of where that rounds, well, if you think about it logically, 3 out of 6 is a half, isn't it? Okay, so 7.5, well, we're told to round up, yeah, when it's a half, so that would round up to 8. Let's then check the bicycle, okay? So the bicycle, we spelt it wrong, okay, never mind. The bicycle would be 1/6 of 6, okay, so that quite simply will be 6 divided by 6, which is 1, so that rounds perfectly for us. Now, before we fill in the answers down here, it's so important that we check that it does add up to 30, because if it doesn't, we're going to have to make some adjustments. So if I add this up here, 10 and 12 is 22, add 8 is 30, add 1 is 31. That adds up to 31 when you add all them up. That's no good. You've got to have a sample of 30. So where we rounded these up here, okay, we need to decide actually against rounding one of them up, okay? So one of them actually needs to be rounded back down. And the one I'm going to choose is the one, of course, with the smallest fraction. So it would be this one here, yeah? So instead of rounding this one up to 8, I'm going to round it back there to 7, okay? So even though it's 7.5, okay, the fraction bit here is the lowest compared to these, so I'm going to round that one down to 7 pupils there. It will then add up to 30, okay? So we'll fill this in here then at the end, 10, 12, 7 and 1.